Have you been wanting to achieve something, but you feel like you just don't have that last piece to push you to get there? Maybe accountability is the thing that you need. And so you're going to want to listen to this episode as I talk about the power of accountability. Hello, lovely dynamic women, and welcome to the Dynamic Women podcast. I am Diane Rolston, your host. And today we're talking about the power of accountability. And you may be like, well, I already know all about that. But what you may have forgotten is that accountability in every area of life towards every single goal you ever have can be the thing that actually gets you there faster, and maybe it's more enjoyable. I'd say some of my first times in my life, and the majority of the times in my life where I have accountability is around my health. And being that I'd say a pretty high level competitive athlete. No, I didn't go pro or anything, but I've always had accountability. And one of the times where accountability was really necessary is when I played varsity rugby. We had off season time, which was basically 10 months of the year. The season was only like 2 months. And what we needed to do was to follow, in order to be fit for the season, we had to follow a full year-round fitness plan. It was intense. There were times when we bulk trained, meaning we lifted very heavy weights, low reps, in order to build mass, build bulk. There were times of the year when we looked to build our endurance, our ability to be able to last through a full game at our full intensity. There were also times in the season when we were building our speed and building our ability for more like agility and rapid movements. And then there was the maintenance during the season when we just had to maintain where we were at. And throughout the season, our muscles were getting beaten up and injuries can come in. And so it was just maintaining where we were at. But all year we had to do these things. And so the coaches wouldn't have us train with the team every single day, but we needed to do the plan. And the threat was that we would be having random fitness testing throughout the year. And I'll tell you, to be randomly fitness tested is scary if you are not keeping up with the fitness plan. So fitness testing included the 12-minute run, so running like laps. It also included the beep test for the short sprints. There were pull-ups and bench press and leg press and a whole bunch of other things. I can't remember it all now. That was over 20 years ago. But we had the accountability of these major check-ins throughout the year, and we didn't know when it would happen. We'd get a call and they'd just say, hey, we're doing a fitness testing in 2 days. Well, if you hadn't been committed to the fitness plan, it's going to show. You're going to be weaker than you were before. And so I had to come up with some accountability in order, between those different times, accountability to be going to the gym, pushing myself, and sticking to the plan. The funny thing is, I joke with people that are coaches that I don't like running, and that's why I need a coach to tell me what to do. And I need to play a sport to push me, because I'm gonna run to get the ball. I'm gonna run to chase someone down. I'm gonna run hard to be able to shoot, but I'm not necessarily going to just go and run. So I need something to get me there. And so the accountability that I had to have was with other teammates of mine, that we would commit to each other and be accountable to each other to meet. I had accountability with certain fitness classes and sessions. Over the course of the years, the other times I had accountability with a personal trainer or accountability with a class. So having that accountability was crucial to me being able to stay as a starter on the varsity rugby team. For me to become an OUA All-Star. What is OUA even? Ontario University Association, maybe, OUA. I grew up in Ontario, in Brantford, and I went to Western in London, Ontario. And so over the years, I know I've needed accountability. And in taking on some of my bigger business goals, I needed accountability with a mastermind and a coach, business advisors, and such. And also in my most recent fitness goals, I needed a coach. I needed accountability, that check-in where I had to show pictures of my food every single day, 5 times a day, and plugging in exactly what I ate and how much I ate. That accountability is crucial. So let me talk now about 6 different benefits that really give you the power of accountability. And think about, as I go through these different ones, where in your life could you benefit a little bit more from some accountability? And I'm thinking about doing another podcast on the disadvantages of accountability and how it can kind of get out of hand and not be good for you. So this is the power of accountability. I'm thinking about doing one on the weaknesses of accountability or the troubles around accountability. So let me know if you'd like to hear that, and I'll put that together. So here are the 6 different ways of like the power of accountability. And just a side note, I want to let you know that the doors are open for She's Gold. It is a coaching mastermind program, like a speed course to reach your goals. And they're small groups where you get the coaching power from me, the mastermind support of the group, and the accountability to be able to reach your goals. So check out in the notes for the link to that. Okay, here we go. Here are the 6. First is trust and reliability vibes. So if you think about accountability, it's really the glue in relationships, right? Whether you're dealing with friends, a boss, or maybe even clients, right? If you are able to be in that place of being reliable and accountable for things, then other people will throw trust your way. So if you're able to have accountability in a goal or accountability with a team, and you are accountable to someone and they see that, then they're going to start trusting you and maybe sending referrals your way. And so even if you're not getting accountability towards a goal, having just some accountability partners in your life and accountable people that you're accountable to, shows the type of person you are. The next piece is around boosting your performance. So when you're accountable to someone else, a coach, business coach, life coach, people in a mastermind group, it really keeps you from slacking off because oh, they're like, I told them they're counting on me to do this. And then what that's going to do is it's going to help you to perform at that higher level. So boost your performance at that higher level. And I know for me that was a huge game changer for me with sports and even in my business was if I tried to do a weaker job or I just like slacked off a little bit, I was letting myself down, but I never wanted to let them down. And so the accountability helped me because if I trained on my own, I might run slower or do less weight. But when I actually was accountable to others and they would see my progress, I kind of would be embarrassed. So I always performed higher for someone else. I always pushed harder for someone else. And the same is true in my business. When I am accountable to someone, I do better. And so where in your life could you do better performance, boost that performance because you're accountable to someone? The next is something called captain responsibility. So you get to be the captain and the owner of all the things that you're responsible for. So when there is accountability, right, you have to own up to your actions. And it also means that if you're on a project and there's accountability on the project or in the team or in a group, everyone is responsible for their own piece. And so they're going to look at you and go, oh, okay. Do they take responsibility for when things maybe aren't going as they should? And are they steering themselves and us, potentially, if you're in a group, away from the trouble? Right. And so you want to be responsible for that. And so having that accountability with the group means that you're going to have more responsibility on your own actions, and other people will be responsible for their actions. And so you get to take ownership, which is a really great thing. Rather than in a project not knowing who's responsible for what. And in your own project, knowing that you are responsible for it when it's your own goal. The next is a learning loop. So when we make a mistake, we want to be able to go, oops, I did that wrong. And then have that aha moment of, should have done it this way, could have done it this way. A lot of times without accountability, when we beat ourselves up and stick in the negative of it, rather than moving to the learning part of it. So it's like, made a mistake, oops, that's what I learned, and now I'm going to make this change. And so we get to go back into it by having that learning loop. But if we don't, and we don't have accountability, then we don't have anyone else to help us kind of move through it or to not be so hard on ourselves. So when you get to learn the ropes of something, learn the lesson in it, it's really going to help you to get past it and then to keep going towards your goal. When you have accountability, there's more fair play. So that's going to, in a group setting, when there's accountability, it's going to make sure everyone is playing by the rules. And when you have accountability for you reaching one of your goals, you want to make sure that people you're accountable to are going to call you out when you've done something that is just not in alignment with how it should be. Not necessarily calling you out on the mistakes, because we want that learning loop to happen, but wanting to make sure things are fair and things are done right. And so if you are trying to cheat in some way, they're going to call you out, right? And so when I would work out with people who are my accountability partners, and they saw that I was maybe lifting, bench pressing, but using more of my back than using my arms and my chest. And so I was like bending or something, then they're going to call me out and go, hey, your form's not right. And this is also really good for your own learning and your results, right? And so they're going to see, are you getting your fair share of things if it's a group? And any rule breakers in a group setting are going to be called out for it and maybe even given a timeout, right? And it's going to help when you're going to your goals to make sure there is fair play, because you might not even know what you shouldn't be doing. You know that? So you might be kind of doing something that's going to hurt you in the end because you haven't done everything as it should be done. And so for processes and systems, it might be that case. Or if there's been kind of a trouble in going towards one of your goals with someone else, people can help you to give you some extra ideas, or just kind of the way that the industry works, or the moral or value-centered way of doing something. And then the last one, accountability, helps there to be transparency. So your actions will be transparent. Your actions will be seen by others. And so it's going to help to keep things super clear for you. No like mysterious was like, oh, I didn't do that, or that didn't happen. Like, people are going to know that you did or didn't do something. And that's usually where we think of accountability. If you have an accountability partner for the gym, you're going to have to tell them you went to the gym, or show you went to the gym, or you didn't, right? It's black and white. If you did or you didn't. And so in this case, when things are transparent, it's really going to help you as well to get towards your goals, because you're not going to be slacking, as I said earlier. And you're going to know that you're not going to reach your goal if you're not getting along, right? So many times I've met people and they've said, oh yeah, this year I'm going to write a book, or, by next mastermind, I'm going to write a book. And then you see them next mastermind, they haven't written a book. Well, it's because no one has called them out. And so they're not really seeing what the problem is. And so if I can add kind of a bonus one, the accountability is going to actually keep you on track. Right? And that's one I think I didn't add in earlier, because it seems like the obvious reason. But if you're not reaching your goals, if you're not even starting some of your goals, it could be that you're lacking accountability and someone really to call you out on it. So when I work with clients and they're not getting towards the goal, I need to call them out on it. And that's the accountability factor. I had one client say to me, I can cheat myself and let myself down and not stay committed to what I said I would do. And I want you to call me on my BS. So if you see that I am like providing excuses, kind of running around, not doing what I'm supposed to be doing, I want you to call me on it. And that's really what the power of coaching is to say like, come on, why aren't you doing this? And I've had this in both ways. I've had in one ways of like, you're not doing this as fast as you said you would be doing this. And on the flip side, I've had someone call me out in the way of like, hey, you need to like wrap that up. You're like doing too much of that and you need to wrap it up. Or even like, when are you going to stop in this story so that you can actually get moving forward? Because sometimes we get stuck in the being and we need to just get into the doing. And so having someone outside of us to be able to see that and call us out, and even not just call us out, but call us forward towards where we want to go. I joke with my clients and I say like, I'm going to take a stand for you and your goals, even when you don't. And so that's the thing, is having someone that you're accountable to that is not worried about hurting your feelings and is strong enough to be able to call you out. And that's why it's best that it's not a best friend, it's not a family member, that it's someone outside of you. That's why I hired the person I did for my health goals. Was a little bit, I knew she's intense and I wanted to be called out when I didn't do it. And so some of my clients will say, I got everything done, but it was last night because I knew I was meeting you today and I knew I had to do it. Well, can you imagine if we didn't meet? Do you think they'd be getting that done? Probably not. So anyway, there's a whole bunch of reasons for the power of accountability. I hope you have accountability in different areas of your life. I encourage you to join the She's Gold 2.0, where you get weekly accountability support so that you can be reaching your goals. It's not enough to have accountability once a month. It's not even enough sometimes twice a month. You're going to get accountability 4 times a month, every single week. You get accountability. And what I found is it moves people very quickly towards their goals in a way that is manageable, because rather than you busting your butt right before you meet a group, maybe every quarter, this way it's going to help you to have consistent routine change and effort towards your goals. So check out She's Gold 2.0. I would love to have you be part of it. And if you haven't yet, share this with a friend, hit subscribe, and write us a review. And until next time, stay dynamic. Bye, everyone.